What do men truly want in a long-distance relationship? And how do you keep him committed to you? Hi, my name is Kristen, and on this channel we talk about long-distance relationships, and we are going to answer one of your questions today. So the topic that we are going to discuss came from Kels and Ron's vlogs. Another great advice coming from my fave vlogger. Aww. Thanks for this vid, sis. Love your voice and the editing. Just one favor, sis. Can you do a video answering what men look for in a long-distance relationship? Keep safe, and God bless always, sis. Sending lots of love from here in Pinas. Mwah. So shout out to Kels and Ron's vlogs. I want to thank you for sending your questions and your comment. I really appreciate reading them all the time. And I'm not going to keep you long. We are gonna go head straight to answering your question. Let's go. So the very first thing that a man looks for in an LDR is your trust. Trusting your man in a distance can prove to be very challenging. And since you're only limited to the information that he gives you and allows you to see, your mind will always tend to wonder about what happens 80% of the time that you guys aren't talking. And the space between the two of you can oftentimes heighten your sense of insecurity and doubt. But don't let yourself succumb into the anxiety of the unknown. In some unique cases, men would probably love sharing 100% of the things that they do. But in most cases, some men would like to keep some things private for themselves. And with that in mind, you must realize that maintaining a long-distance relationship involves a lot of trust. So if you don't have this confidence from the very start, it will be very or extremely challenging for you to make things last. Men hate being doubted, especially,
listen to me, Karen,
especially when they know that they've done nothing to make you question their love for you. They've done nothing wrong. So just come here. Just listen carefully. If they don't feel any faith coming from you, then they are more likely to stop trying. Men are hardwired to lead and to be trusted. And if you choose to always overthink their actions, assume they are cheating, or interrogate their moves, then you may as well break up. So, do this. Remember how much your man loves you. Think about the things and the reasons why you trust him. List down the number of times he proved himself trustworthy of your love versus the number of times that he might have lost your confidence. If there are more letdowns, then that's when you need to start rethinking things. But if he really hasn't done anything to make you doubt him, and you're just playing all these crazy thoughts inside your head and assuming things, then you should learn to adjust your own mindset. Pray for understanding and have peace in your heart. The next thing that a man looks for in a long-distance relationship is his privacy.
Are you taking notes?
Write it down, because this is very important. Okay.
Do you have the password to all his social media accounts? Do you have a GPS set up on his phone to check his location? Are you always extremely anxious whenever he doesn't reply to your messages right away?
Stop it. Stop it now. So there are a few guys who like the clinginess of full disclosure. Most men dislike having their every single step monitored. Not even their moms do that. So stop feeling the need to know and ask every single thing that goes on in his life. Let him have time for himself. Let him miss you for a little bit. Let the guy breathe. This is true for anyone in any relationship, actually. I'm sure you equally don't like being asked about your every single move 24/7, right? Have a little mystery in your relationship. Keep your man wondering and guessing what you're up to. Make yourself busy with family, friends, your career, hobbies, or passions. Focus on other things that matter in your life. While healthy relationships need some form of or some level of information sharing, healthy relationships also need a good amount of privacy. Rest assured that if your man truly loves you, he will share with you all the information that you need to know in order for you to feel loved. So do this. Spend time with yourself, your family, your friends, your career, and just your life in general. In short, mind your own business. The next thing that a man looks for in an LDR is a challenge. I know what you're thinking.
It's already a challenge being in an LDR.
What more challenge do you want? Have you ever wondered why he doesn't even try anymore? Or why he lost all effort he had at the beginning? It's because there is no more challenge. Believe it or not, men actually like being challenged in a relationship. And yes, even in long distance. It may be hard to believe, but despite the spaces between the two of you, there's still such a thing as being too clingy and too overly dependent in his mind in a long distance relationship. You are probably always the first one to chat, first one to call, first one to set up a meeting, first one to volunteer, and first to do everything.
First.
And you basically left him with no work to do because you've done it all. So he gets complacent and lazy because he knows that you're always gonna be ready and available and the first one to do it anyway. I know that you always have the urge to give him all your love. And that's completely okay. But that doesn't mean that you have to be his babysitter. Let him know that you have standards even if you're already together. Men like to solve things, to wonder, to figure things out. So, let him. Because you know what else makes a man really bored in a relationship? Someone who says yes to everything. Please don't be a pushover. You should have your own preferences and opinions. Think for yourself and grow as an individual. And also be independent. When you learn new things, you also start liking new things. And when you start liking new things, your partner begins to take interest in that. And then eventually you'll add more value to the relationship. When you continually evolve, there will be more mysteries and challenges for your man to solve and to catch up to. So, do this. Don't be too available. I know it sounds bad, but to put it in other words, just don't be too easy to get. You are a precious diamond and you deserve to be pursued. Yes, even if you are already his girlfriend and even if you are already his wife. The next thing that a man looks for is honesty. Long distance relationships rely heavily on honesty and transparency. If you notice, for the most part, men don't always look for constant attention and warmth, but they do value honesty. If you feel the need to hide something from him or to lie about something, then you need to really stop yourself right in that moment. You'll start to lose your man's respect and love at that very point that you decided to do that, especially on specific moments when you feel like you want to cheat on him, to deceive him, and to commit an unforgivable lie to him. If you want your man to stay committed to you, then do your very best to be transparent with him.
He can't read your mind, girl. He ain't no psychic.
Tell him exactly how you feel, what you need from him, and what you plan on doing. They love that. Because chances are, if you don't communicate that to him, he will have no clue whatsoever. Think about it. It should be really easy for you to tell the honest truth to the man that you truly love. Unless, of course, if you don't. So, do this. Tell him everything that bothers you. Tell him what you need. Be honest about your whereabouts and your plans. Show him that he can have full confidence and trust in your relationship by answering his questions straight up. The next thing that you should also take note of is that men look for a safe haven. Aww, angel voice. Wouldn't you love to be your man's refuge? Wouldn't you like to be that something that he's always so eager to come home to? Wouldn't you like to be that someone that he always looks forward to seeing at the end of each day? The voice that he wants to hear, the face that he wants to see, and the company that he wants to be with. What's this? A long-distance relationship is already stressful in itself. The last thing that your man wants is to receive a nagging call or an accusing text message from you. What men want in a long-distance relationship is someone that they can laugh with, relax with, flirt with, and enjoy. If he doesn't like communicating with you, then you successfully severed the only chance you have to making a long-distance relationship work. So do this. Do your very best to be a nurturing partner. You are his resting place, or you is his resting place. Yeah. Be his happy pill. Another thing that a man looks for in an LDR is acceptance. Don't try to change him.
Girl, why are you doing that? Why you be doing that? Come on.
Yes, a long-distance relationship entails a lot of adjustment, scheduling, and habit changes. However, those things are completely different from personality and character. If your man is normally an online introvert, learn to accept that fact despite the distance. Rather than pushing him to message you all the time or begging him to call you every single day, try observing his virtual behavior for about a couple weeks. Check and see what times within the day he usually responds. Determine the days wherein he has more energy to communicate with you virtually, and look at the way that you reply back to him. Is it more of a positive or negative tone? Try to keep an objective perspective and set your emotions aside. Take note of your reactions after you have formulated an organized schedule of your interactions online. And when you find out that he reaches out to you much less than what you prefer, then try not to get upset. Instead, offer him a suggestion or collaborate on ways that you guys could connect without one feeling left behind or the other feeling strangled. If it means calling only once a week or text messaging every other day, then so be it. What's important is that you try to understand him as a person and genuinely love him despite the difficulties. If you initially wanted to be with someone who texts you every day or even updates you every second, then you should have chosen someone who's initially an online extrovert. So when it all boils down to it, here is the important question to ask yourself. Do you want a man who commits long distance? Then learn to accept him the way that he is. I mean, it's one thing to encourage your partner's growth, but trying to force him to do something or become someone that he isn't is just plain controlling. So do this. Never try to change who he is. Let him desire improvement and change on his own. Allow him to grow in character and develop personality traits in his own timeline. Accept him and love him for who he is and meet him where he's at. The next thing that a man looks for is support. Yes. When you love someone, it should be very natural to be supportive. One of the main reasons why your man is acting cold or feeling distant is probably because he doesn't feel any support coming from you. This emotion transcends distance. Any man who lacks faith and support from their partner is bound to lose interest in the relationship. Why do you think that most cheating husbands usually cheat with their secretaries? It's because their secretaries make them feel like heroes. Think about this for a minute. Their secretaries support them, encourage them, assist them, and serves them in any way that they can. Now, I'm not saying that all men falls in love with their secretaries, but I think it's safe to assume that it's a common scenario that many cheating partners experience. When a person feels more support from someone else besides their partner, it's more likely that that person will feel more attraction towards the supportive party. You get it? Distance is already on the opposing side. So try to take advantage of the space between the two of you and let him feel your supportive attitude and your encouraging spirit. Trust me, you will be the first person he will be beaming with excitement to talk to about that recent promotion or that new trick that he learned. So, do this. Be your king's cheerleader. Attempt to understand their work, their career, their passion, their hobbies the best way that you can. Remember, if you're not cheering him on, someone else will. The second to the last thing that men want in a long-distance relationship is no nagging. I cannot stress this enough. You have to make sure that you are not doing this. In the dynamics of LDRs, the use of words, the online connection, and the quality of your communication all work hand in hand in maintaining a strong and healthy bond. And since communication is the best weapon you can use to battle the distance, you need to take full advantage of it. Improve your connection using your words. Don't do the opposite. Why? Because men repel from naggers.
If you're the type to blabber about all the things that he does wrong and all the complaints in the world seem to escape your mouth,
you need to stop, girl. You know, this specific scolding trait could single-handedly ruin your relationship. And if you take a step back, This could be the very reason why you cannot keep a guy in a long-distance relationship.
It may be the reason why you can't keep a guy, period.
Think about it. Are your calls always comprised of you grumbling about something? Are your messages usually intertwined with criticisms and negativity? Do you bring him words of enlightenment? Or do you bring him words of bitterness? If your words are toxic, your LDR is most certainly toxic. Another thing you need to be careful of when it comes to nagging is this. When you always ask him if he loves you in a non-loving way, even if he clearly shows you and tells you the best way he knows how.
Sis, get a grip. Like, seriously, sister?
Try to learn his virtual love language so that you're not always wondering if he really loves you. Remember that words and communication are basically the only things keeping you connected. Without them, it's not a long-distance relationship. It's just two people living in two different places. So if the only thing that's supposed to link you together is damaged, it won't take very much effort to break it. Do this. Instead of nagging him through the phone or through chat, try to bring up some of his strengths and praise him for the right things that he does. A positive reinforcement can go a very long way. Emphasize his positive traits, then watch him become more aware of his actions, be more inspired by your words, and grow more attracted to you. Alright, the very last thing that a man looks for in a long-distance relationship is respect. Respect is innately embedded in men's desires when it comes to relationships. They long to be admired and esteemed with a high regard, especially by their loved ones and significant other. Without respect, they feel extremely unappreciated. And you're probably wondering, how can I disrespect my man in a long distance? Is that even possible? Yes, it actually is. You might be surprised by how many times you've disrespected your partner without you even knowing it. So here, let me give you some examples. Here's one. When you don't recognize his diligence at work or his career because you're more concerned with how fast he should reply to your messages during work hours. Girl, here is another example. When you discredit his endeavors and decisions in life because it affects your online communication or it lessens your virtual communication due to the change in schedule. Here's a third example. When you make him feel like he's not doing anything to maintain your relationship despite his efforts. You fail to acknowledge his sacrifices behind the scenes, or what I like to call it, behind the screen. Another example is when you make fun of him in front of your friends or his friends. Yes, virtually, like through chats or group messages or online parties and things like that. And the last example would be when you don't take into consideration his plans and desires to lead you because you don't trust his capabilities in maintaining a successful long-distance relationship. You always plan things before consulting him and you make decisions without even asking him. Satisfy his desire for respect, and you will definitely satisfy his heart. So do this. Never do anything that will embarrass him negatively. Avoid anything that will cause others to belittle his abilities. Use your words to encourage him rather than to put him down. And honor his position as the man in the relationship. So in conclusion, loving a man is like loving a lion. You need to give them enough space. And you also need to understand that they need to feel appreciated and respected. As the king of the jungle, they will thrive with a supportive queen who knows how to love him with trust, honesty, fun, and acceptance. If you want to be able to maintain a meaningful connection with your man in a long-distance relationship, you must learn the art of self-control. You need to know when to back off and when to get close, because men in general don't like being smothered by extremes.
Extreme talking, extreme control, extreme nagging.
Hopefully in time, you will learn to give your partner the right amount of everything as you learn more about his needs. Because trust me, his needs are planets away from your needs. And you have to begin to embrace the fact that you will have to adjust your mindset when it comes to love. So if you're ready for your man to start committing more to you in the distance, start applying all the things that we have listed here. Then witness the change in his behavior behavior towards you the virtual way. So my question for you is, which one of the things that we talked about do you know you need to work on? Did you discover any specific strengths or weaknesses that you might have? And if you're a man, what are the things that I may have skipped on or I forgot to mention? Leave in the comments below what they are and let us know so that you can help all the women up in here. You know what I'm saying? Give us some of the qualities that you're looking for that could help us love you better in a distance. What can you suggest to the other people watching this video that needs your advice? Know that I also would appreciate reading your comments and suggestions. And if you made it this far, consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for more long-distance relationship topics. Keep them questions coming because they help us and help others who has the same inquiries. Don't forget to check out KristenCares.com, and you may also follow me on my Instagram account at KristenGapasan. So, you know the drill.
Come on, say it.
I will see you later. Have a little mastery.